Think about it for a second. They're just everywhere, aren't they?
What, traffic lights?
Yeah, traffic lights. Standing there at intersections all over the world, kind of silently running our lives.
Uh-huh.
We see them so much we barely even notice them. But the story behind them and the science? It's actually pretty fascinating.
It really is. It's kind of amazing how this basically simple device became so essential.
Right.
And it's always evolving, too, dealing with cities getting busier and busier.
Totally. And for this deep dive, we're going way beyond just, red means stop. We've pulled together a whole load of interesting info to really unpack the history and the science of these things.
Sounds good.
Our goal, really, is that by the end, you'll look at those lights a bit differently. Maybe appreciate the cleverness behind them a bit more. Okay, let's jump in.
Yeah, definitely. We take them so much for granted, but how they started and how they developed, well, there are some really interesting twists and turns there.
Okay, so take us back. London, 1868. Right outside the British Parliament, you said. What was the big idea then?
Right, so this was the very, very first go at a traffic signal system. But, and this is important, it looked nothing like what we have today.
Okay.
It wasn't electric, for a start, and it wasn't even really for cars. Cars were still, pretty rare back then.
No cars. So who was it for, and how did it work if it wasn't electric? That seems tricky.
It was mainly for horse-drawn carriages. And pedestrians, of course.
Oh, okay.
And how it worked.
Right.
Well, imagine gas lamps. Red and green ones.
Gas.
Yeah, gas.
Yeah.
And there was a police officer standing right there, controlling it by hand, pulling levers, basically, to switch the lights.
Wow. Gas lamps operated manually by a policeman. That sounds a little risky, maybe.
It was. Definitely hazardous. In fact, just about a month after they installed it, there was an accident.
Oh, no.
Yeah, one of the gas lines leaked and there was an explosion. The poor officer operating it was badly injured.
Goodness. So not exactly a smooth start, then.
Not at all. But it was the spark, the beginning of the whole idea.
It's quite something, though. Thinking about that one sort of dangerous, flawed attempt, leading to the literally millions of electric smart traffic lights we have today. It's an incredible journey.
It really is. It just shows how we keep trying to find ways to, manage crowds and keep things safe as places get busier. That first try, even though it failed pretty quickly, was the vital first step. Took over 150 years of development from there.
Oh, it's something I've always wondered. Why those specific colors? Red, yellow, green. It feels so standard now, but why those three?
That's a great question. And it wasn't random at all. Not a bit.
Okay.
They actually borrowed them, took them straight from the railroads.
The railways. That makes sense. They needed signals long before cars were common.
Exactly. In the 19th century, the railroads already had established signaling systems, and people kind of understood what those colors meant in that context.
So what did they mean back then on the railways?
Well, red pretty much always meant danger or stop. Mostly because you can see red really well, even from far away. Think about warning flags and stuff.
Right, red stands out.
Definitely. Now, green. Green initially meant caution on the railways. Proceed carefully.
Huh, not go.
Not at first. It changed later to mean go as the systems got, more sophisticated.
Okay, so red for stop, green eventually for go. What about yellow? It feels like the middle child.
It kind of was. Yellow came later. It was added into the mix, making it the three-color system we know early in the 20th century.
Why then?
Because cars were starting to become a bigger thing. More traffic, faster speeds. They needed something to warn drivers the light was about to change.
The warning signal, giving you time to react.
Precisely. That yellow light gives crucial reaction time. It made roads a lot safer almost immediately.
So it's not just about visibility, it's also psychology, what we associate with those colors.
Exactly. Deeply ingrained associations. And here's a fun fact, actually.
Go on.
Our eyes are naturally really sensitive to the wavelengths of green and yellow light.
Really?
Yeah. So biologically, they're just very effective colors for signals in all sorts of light conditions.
Wow. Okay, so biology played a part too. That clears up the colors. But moving from those, frankly, dodgy gas lamps to something reliable, the electric light must have been the real breakthrough moment.
Oh, absolutely. The electric traffic light, that was the game changer. A massive leap forward. Safety, automation potential, everything.
So where and when did that first appear? The first proper electric one?
Okay, for that, we need to go to Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland.
Yep, Cleveland, Ohio, 1914. That was the first one. Really the foundation for, well, pretty much all the traffic lights we see now.
And what did it look like? Was it red, yellow, green, straight away?
Nope. Simpler to start with, just 2 colors initially.
Just red and green again.
Red and green, exactly. And interestingly, it still needed a person.
Still?
Yeah, a police officer had a little booth nearby and used a switch to change the lights. Not quite automated yet.
Okay, so still manual control, just electric lights this time. When did yellow join the electric party?
That followed pretty quickly, actually.
Okay.
The safety benefit of that warning light was just so obvious once cars became more common.
Right.
So adding yellow became the standard setup relatively fast. It's really amazing, isn't it? How quickly the tech moved from those first electric ones to the super complex systems we have now. Just over 100 years.
It really is. Shows how fast things can change once you have that basic idea working. And speaking of modern systems, it's not just about timers anymore, is it? We hear about smart traffic lights. What makes them smart?
Right, yeah. Now we're into the world of what they call intelligent transportation systems, ITS.
Okay.
So modern lights are way more than just timers. They often have sensors, cameras. Some even use machine learning.
So they're actually watching the traffic, like seeing what's happening.
Pretty much. You might have sensors in the road itself or cameras up on the poles. They detect if cars are waiting, how many cars. And then they use that data to adjust the timing. So if there's a long queue on one road, it might get a longer green light.
It's like they're learning patience or impatience, depending on the traffic.
You could put it that way, yeah. They're responding to what's actually happening right now, trying to keep things flowing and cut down on jams.
Okay.
And it gets even smarter. Lots of cities now use adaptive signals. These are lights that actually talk to each other.
Talk to each other? How does that work?
Well, they coordinate along a route to create green waves.
Ah, the dream. A wave of green lights.
Exactly. The idea is a whole platoon of cars can drive through several intersections without hitting a red. Saves time, saves fuel.
Yeah.
It's much smoother.
That sounds brilliant. Now, are traffic lights the same everywhere you go? I feel like I've noticed differences when traveling.
That's a really good point. They're definitely not uniform worldwide. The basic red, yellow, green is pretty universal, sure, but there are some fascinating local variations in how they're used or look.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, well, Germany's a classic one. They're pedestrian signals.
The little green man?
Exactly. The invention. He's kind of a cultural icon, especially the East German version.
I've seen pictures.
Or Japan. Their go light is technically green, but often people describe it, and even the official term sometimes translates as blue.
Blue. Why blue?
It's a language thing, historically.
Yeah.
The traditional Japanese word for blue, awo, used to cover shades of green as well. So go light got called ao, and it's sort of stuck even though the light itself is green, maybe a bit bluish green sometimes.
Wow, language actually affecting how people see or describe the color. That's wild.
Isn't it? And then you have places, maybe parts of India or some countries in Africa where, well, the lights might not always be working reliably.
Right, power cuts maybe?
Power cuts, maintenance issues.
Yeah.
And sometimes adherence isn't as strict. So you often see traffic police playing a much more active role, actually directing traffic even when lights are present.
So the tech is only part of the picture. It depends on the local situation, the culture, the infrastructure.
Absolutely. Technology never exists in a vacuum, does it? It's always interacting with everything else around it.
Okay, good point. Before we look ahead, let's maybe pause for a quick vocabulary check. Some key terms we've been using. Good for anyone listening who's maybe brushing up on their English, too.
Yeah, good idea. Having the right words helps make sense of it all.
Exactly. So, first one, intersection. Pretty basic, but what's the core meaning?
Simply where 2 or more roads cross each other.
Yeah.
That's the spot where you need traffic control, like a light.
Got it. Next, pedestrian crossing. Seems obvious, but why is it important?
Well, it's the designated safe spot for people on foot to cross the road. Super important safety feature, keeping people and cars separate. Think zebra stripes or marked walkways.
Right, and a term we've used a lot today, traffic signal.
Yep, just another name for a traffic light. You'll hear both used all the time. Interchangeable, really.
Okay, now this one can sometimes trip people up. Right of way.
Ah, yes. Right of way is basically about who gets to go first legally at an intersection or merging or anywhere paths might cross. Knowing the rules of right of way is crucial for avoiding accidents.
Definitely. And lastly, a phrase every commuter dreads. Rush hour.
Yes. Rush hour is just those peak times, usually morning and late afternoon or early evening, when everyone seems to be traveling to or from work or school. Roads get super busy.
Perfect. Essential road vocabulary sorted. Okay, so we've done the past, the present. What about the future? Are traffic lights going to be around forever, or will self-driving cars make them redundant?
That is the big question, isn't it? There's definitely this vision out there, a future with loads of autonomous vehicles all talking to each other, coordinating perfectly. And in that scenario, yeah, maybe you wouldn't need traditional traffic lights anymore. The cars would just sort it out amongst themselves.
A world without red lights. Sounds efficient, but maybe a bit sci-fi still. How close are we to that?
Well, self-driving tech is moving fast, no doubt about it. But getting to a point where most cars are autonomous and the infrastructure supports it everywhere, that's still quite a way off, I think.
So don't expect traffic lights to disappear overnight.
Definitely not. They'll be a key part of how we manage traffic for the foreseeable future. Absolutely.
But they're still evolving even now, right? Even without the self-driving revolution.
Oh, for sure. We're constantly seeing smaller improvements and tweaks.
Yeah.
Things like more solar-powered lights, which is great for sustainability.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And things like touchless pedestrian buttons.
Yeah.
Wave your hand instead of pressing. Became more popular recently for hygiene reasons.
Makes sense.
Plus, countdown timers. You see them more and more. For pedestrians and sometimes for drivers too. They just give everyone a better sense of how long they have to wait or cross.
So it's this constant refinement process, even for something we think of as pretty standard.
Exactly. The main goal hasn't changed. Keep things safe, keep things moving efficiently. But the tools and the tech we use to do that, they just keep getting better. Bit by bit.
So maybe the next time you're stuck at a red light, feeling a bit frustrated, take a second. Think about that whole journey, from that exploding gas lamp in London to the smart communicating signals we have now. It's quite a story packed into that red light.
It really is. It feels like just a boring wait, but it's actually, over a century of problem solving and innovation right there in front of you. And hey, while you're waiting, maybe practice that vocabulary we just went over.
Good call. And to really help you lock this stuff in, maybe think about doing one or two things after listening.
Yeah.
First, maybe keep an eye out for any weird or interesting traffic lights where you live. If you see one, grab a photo. Imagine sharing it on, I don't know, traffic light spotters online, just for fun.
Like it.
Second, try using some of that vocab intersection, pedestrian crossing, right-of-way, rush hour. See if you can slip them into a conversation this week.
Makes it stick.
And third, maybe try recording a really short voice note just for yourself, describing your commute in English. Talk about the lights you encounter. It's great practice.
Those are all really good practical ways to kind of engage with it more actively. Makes the learning stick, like you said.
Definitely. And look, if you found this deep dive into traffic lights, well, illuminating.
Nice one.
Then please think about subscribing so you catch our future deep dives into everyday things. Leaving a review helps other people find us too, and, share it if you think someone else might find it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think of it like this. We all hit that red light sometimes, where we need to pause and learn something new. But if you stay curious, you get ready on yellow, and then boom, full speed ahead on green into learning more about the world.